This is a war between good and evil, black and white, and it's time we get everybody who cares about a child to get on the right side of this.
For over 15 years, Tim Ballard dedicated his life to fighting human trafficking, rescuing thousands of children around the world.
An organization uses their own people as human shield, uses mosques, church, and schools, UNRWA schools, as terror bases.
Yoseph Haddad, a former commander in one of Israel's elite combat units, an Arab Christian raised in Israel. Today, one of the strongest voices defending Israel on the international stage.
We beat that ratio under the worst circumstances and conditions in a war.
There's no one who would say, well, I'm going to let my mom stay as a slave or my daughter stay as a sex slave because I just can't handle the destruction I'm seeing in Nicaragua. Bullcrap. No one would say that.
Yeah.
Get those kids back. Get my mom back. Get my sister back. Get my brother back. Until everyone's back, we would not stop.
Two men, two different worlds. One conversation about faith, truth, and the fight against evil.
And here 3,000 miles away and judge Israel for doing exactly what we would do.
If the Iranian regime does not collapse, we are going to see more wars. Well, my name is Yoseph Haddad, and I'm here with Tim Ballard. It's such an honor to be here with you. And all I wanted to do in talking to you is understanding more about you as an American coming to the state of Israel, spending 6 months here, and seeing with your own eyes what's going on in my country. And then you can actually tell the truth, show the facts. Right. And also, I know we're in Syria, in the midst of what we call in Hebrew balagan, which is the mess. And you saw crazy things there. And I can't wait for you to share also that story with me.
Well, thank you so much, Yosef, and it's an honor to be with you. I know who you are. I know your past, an IDF soldier, Arab Christian, and you have so much perspective. We both do to understand from almost an outside perspective. You're inside, but you also, some say you're an outsider, right? But you're not. And we can really bring context to what is actually happening in Israel, because in my country, this mostly lies about this whole conflict, what's going on. And our operation in Syria, I think, shines a light on this. The reason I'm interested in the geopolitical situation, first and foremost, is because I can't rescue children if the people back there who I need their support back in the United States, they don't even know who the good guys are or the bad guys are. Yeah. You have people like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and increasingly Megyn Kelly. I mean, these guys are running cover for the bad guys. Like literally, I'm seeing it on the ground. And so they're getting in my way. Lies get in the way of us rescuing children. Because again, they don't even know who the bad guys or the good guys are. And to us, it's obvious.
And by the way, I got to tell you something. When I heard that we're going to meet and do something together, one of the things that I thought immediately about is that we need voices like yours in order to tackle voices like Katarlson, like, well, come on.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree. I couldn't say it otherwise, in a different way. You have Candace Owens, and you had, what's his name?
Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly. They worry me more even than the squad. Because I expect that from the squad.
That's right.
I know that they should speak like this because they're motivated by a political agenda and in a way even supporting terrorism.
That's right.
Pure. I'm not even going to apologize for that.
I hate to say it's true, but it is true.
But when it happens on the right and then far right, that's concerning, especially if it's coming within the Republicans.
That's right. And where I'm coming from is I don't sell protein powders. I'm not worried about sponsors. I don't have a network. We are totally independent. I talked when I was briefing Congress on the story I'm going to tell you about the Druze. They said, "Are you State Department? Are you CIA? Like, how come you got into Sueva? Why did you go into Sueva?"
No, so what was there? What was exactly there? Because I know you were in the midst of everything's happening there. Yeah. You got to go through Jordan, if I'm not wrong, right?
That's right. Yeah.
What happened?
So what happened is, July 15th. These beautiful people, the Druze and Christians are beautiful people so they've been there for thousands of years.
Absolutely.
And they are just brutally attacked for no other reason than this political ideology, this death cult of radical Islam. And they're just attacked. Horrible things happening. And I hear about it and I get an asset inside and they start sending me raw videos. It's the worst things you can imagine. Babies being tossed off roofs. Babies, women just getting raped, then killed. Men just gunned down for nothing because it's their ideology. Yeah. And no one's saying a thing about it. Where's Tucker Carlson on that? Where's Megan? They're not even talking about it. And I was getting frustrated sitting at home in July. Why won't the news talk? So I start talking about it on my social media.
Well, you know, so maybe they're racist and they don't care about the Druze. But also the Christians were slaughtered by those fanatics.
Well, I think I know why they didn't want to talk about it.
Why?
Okay? Why they didn't want to talk about it because at the time we were going through the Gaza conflict. And what was happening in Asweda was a direct reflection, a mirror image of what's happening in Gaza. And so they're running cover for political Islam. And so they can make up their stories. I mean, they're totally bamboozling the West by, I mean, they put these children who have like cerebral palsy saying, oh, look, it's a forced famine, all this crap. When I see parachutes of food being dropped by IDF into Gaza. Yep. So I was going to expose what's happening in Gaza by being in Syria. It's the same fight because the difference was the Druze and the Christians who aren't so oppressed spiritually, they came out and said, no, this is the truth. Here's what's going on. And so if we expose what's happening there, you would know the truth and they'd all be exposed.
Because it's the same method.
It's the same.
Whatever ISIS in Syria is using, it's Hamas using in Gaza. Only the difference is here, Israel is and Israelis and the IDF are fighting Hamas.
That's right.
And over there, it's ISIS fighting the Christian community and the Druze. But if you show what ISIS is doing to the Christian community and the Druze, exactly. You'd say, wait. That sounds like the 7th of October when Hamas did to Israelis.
It's exactly the same scenario. It's October 7th, just up the road.
Yep.
A few hundred miles. That's all the difference was. But you know, like they say, it's true. No Jews, no news.
Yep.
And this was about about demonizing Israel and demonizing the Jews.
But and it's sad, right? That you like what we're telling to the world basically. Listen, if you want the world to care, just invent the problem that Israel is causing to you.
That's right. They invent the problem. Exactly what they do. Human shields. And
by the way, you know one of the craziest problems that they invented? Israel being an apartheid state.
Yeah.
You've been here 6 months.
That's right. And
I'm going to reply to that, but I want to ask you as someone who came from outside.
Yeah.
Okay, in a minute, as an Arab who lives in Israel, I'm going to also answer this question. But and tell everybody, how do I feel as an Arab living in Israel? But you, as someone who came from outside, and you saw Israel, and you see that there's a Christian community here, and Muslim community, and Druze community, and Jewish community.
That's right.
What is your thoughts about that?
My thoughts are very clear, and it's part of the same narrative that they didn't want me to tell. When I got to Israel on August 11th, my first move was to go up into the northern part of Israel to meet the Druze people. As you know, the Druze nation cuts through the border.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm talking to them, and immediately I see the lie in the West. Why? Because the Druze people, they have their beautiful villages, and they're growing. And who's coming in and out for coffee, and who's protecting them? The IDF. And then I find out that, all these Druze there's IDF soldiers who are Druze. There's Knesset members who are Druze. There's high commanding officers in the IDF who are Druze. And so the podcasters back home are saying, this is a land grab. The Jews just want to take Gaza. First of all, no one wants Gaza as land. Okay, you don't need it. There's more land in Israel than you know what to do with. People don't realize that. Yeah. And if that's true about the land grab scenario, why are the Druze allowed to stay? And not only allowed to stay, they are encouraged to stay. They get more land, and they're protected. And so all of a sudden, the lie was exposed immediately.
Let me give you a crazy story about my grandfather, and that will even further prove your point about the land. Back in 1948, it was the war between the Jews against the Arabs. Certainly after the Arab leader denied the partition plan, the Jewish leader actually accepted the partition plan. The Arab denied it, and then they opened the war, which, by the way, they lost. Here's something interesting. At no point it was the Palestinian leaders. They were the Arab leaders. So my grandfather was a leader in his community in a village called Jesh, Gush Khalav. It's literally on the northern part of Israel, on the border between Israel, Lebanon, Syria. Back at that day, in 1948, the Arab leaders from Syria and Lebanon contacted the leaders of the villages in the area, and they said, look, get out with your family, leave your houses, leave your land. We will win, and you will get to be back to your lands within 20 to 48 hours. My grandfather told the Arab leaders, I am not getting out of my house. I'm staying in my land. And if the IDF or when the IDF are coming or come, I'm going to tell them, hello, I'm not getting out, but I'm not fighting. Until today, we have those lands. And I'm actually supposed to inherit some of that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm not saying that atrocities and, bad things did not happen in 1948. On both sides it happened. It was a vicious war. But at the same time, I cannot agree to all the lies that have been telling about what happened there when I actually know the truth through an eyewitness, which in that case is my grandfather, who stayed in his land, stayed in his house, and until today we have those lands. And in fact, today, when there are fights on the border between Israel and Lebanon and Syria, many of the IDF soldiers come and actually get hosted by the Arab civilians who live in that village.
With the Druze as well.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing about the Druze. If you remember, so basically, the majority of the Druze community here in Israel, they enlist to the army. And it's actually obligatory. They have to. Okay? So basically in Israel, you have Jews and Arabs. It's an obligation for the Jews to serve. For the Arabs, it's not. Beside the Druze men. In the Druze community, exclude the Druze who live in the Golan Heights, which up until the incidents in Isweda, they actually refused to adopt the Israeli identity and stayed as permanent citizen, let's call it like this, or residents, permanent residents, but not citizens. To that level. Something changed in the past 2 years. And then I sat down with one of the Druze leaders from the Golan Heights, where they have a deep connection to Syria. And they said to me, Yosef, do you know why we were scared to adopt the Israeli identity? It's actually because of the Israelis. They keep talking about returning the Golan Heights to Syria. So we were scared that at some point they're going to return us to Syria, call us collaborators, call us traitors, and they're going to kill us and hang us. Otherwise, from far ago, we would have been Israelis. After what happened in Sweden, and after the IDF going to Sweden, helping the Druze community, give them actually not only shelter but protecting them, everything changed. And get this, since the last year, the percentage of Druze from the Golan Heights enlisting to the IDF went by thousands of percentage.
Yes, it's amazing.
People need to know that.
And the other thing people need to know, I don't generally find myself quoting Bill Clinton, but I will, because Bill Clinton was trying to negotiate a very generous offer that Israel in the 90s. I don't agree with the offer, okay, because, and neither does Bill Clinton now. Listen to what he's saying. He is speaking now. He doesn't need to speak. He has nothing to gain politically by going against what otherwise would be his woke crowd.
Yeah.
But he's being honest. And he says, look, we brokered a deal where the Palestinians, whatever that really means, but the PLO.
We should talk about it, by the way.
Yeah, we should.
Because
I have to go like this.
We have to speak about
We'll talk about that. But they were giving them 96%. Israel was giving them 96% of the West Bank, all of Gaza, and 4% of anywhere in Israel they could choose.
Which, by the way,
anywhere.
I really hate the term West Bank. West Bank is a colonist name. What is the West Bank to what? To the Jordan River.
Yeah.
So who called it West Bank? The Jordanians, not the Palestinians.
Yeah.
It is Judea and Samaria.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to echo that. Look, I'm an Arab. I don't have a problem saying if that was an Arab land, it's an Arab land. Point. No problem. Okay? But guys, and circling back to history and to our religion, with all due respect, when I say what I say, and people say that you are a token, that you are a collaborator, that you are a traitor, I'm saying, what are you talking about? You do understand that right now you are disrespecting my religion. I said, what are you talking about? I said, and specifically the person that I was talking to, it was a Christian. I had a cross. And I said to her, "You're a Christian, right?" She said yes. I said, "Okay, tell me something. About 2026 years ago, well, back then it was last year, so it was 2025 years ago. Who was born?" I said, "Jesus." I said, "Okay. Where was Jesus born?" I said, "Bethlehem." "Okay. What was the name of the area where Bethlehem was?" So what do you mean? Okay, you know what? Put that aside. Let me open the Bible. I opened the Bible. John 1:11. Okay? And it says like this. ولد في بيت لحم اليهودية.
Who they?
He was born in the Jewish town of Bethlehem.
That's right.
And then I said, there's another phrase. He came to his own and his own denied him. I don't care historically why that happened. I just have one question. Who's his own? And when he came to Jerusalem. Who his own? What's your answer? She's like, the Jews? Ding, 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 ding. Now hold on. That was 25 years ago. That's 700 years before whom?
Before political Islam came to the scene,
So,
even existed.
what we're talking about is crucial because the anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian, terror supporters are trying either to erase the history or rewrite it.
Yeah.
And if we do not tackle that, we are in a big problem. That's why calling this area West Bank is literally echoing their agenda. Therefore, we
echoing
have
a lie. Echoing a
echo a
lie.
lie. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Therefore, we have to bring that. And there's so many anti-Israel people are using the claim it did not start on the 7th of October. You know what? They are right. But it did not also start in 1967 and not 1948. Not even 1929 in the Hebron massacre, where Muslims decided to, massacre Jews. And back then Israel did not exist. And it's also did not even, I'm not talking even go back, I'm talking about not even the 7th century. I'm talking about the Bar Kokhba rebel. When the Jews had to fight, they lost. And as a measure of punishment, the Romans changed the name from Judea to Syria, Palestina. That's when it started. Because if that didn't happen, this land today would have called Judea. If we don't tell history as it is, and if we don't insist in telling the truth and show the facts, they will manage to rewrite history. They're already calling Jesus a Palestinian. You're dumb idiots.
Yeah, Greta Thunberg is doing
imbeciles.
that. And it's important to your point. The Romans conquer in 70 AD. They, to insult the land and insult the Jewish people, they name it. Think about it. The name came from the Philistines.
No connection to the Arab Muslim Palestinian
because
today.
that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Everything is invented, including the name Palestine. Palestine is simply Philistines. It was the Roman insult to the Jews to say, I'm going to name this land after your enemies. And then a group of people, Yasser Arafat's from Egypt. And people think there's some kind of race or something. No, he just said, hey, we got an opportunity. Let's say that we're Philistines. We're Palestinians. What they're saying is we're Philistines, which no one wants to be.
It's crazy. But if you ask the Palestinians where Palestine come from, they have no idea. I've done that. I've done that many times. I've asked Gazans and I've asked Palestinians who live in Judea and Samaria. And I've asked them, what is the meaning of Palestine? Okay, so they tell me what's the meaning of Israel. Israel is the second name of Jacob, the sons of Jacob, who are actually the 12 tribes.
And it's 3,000 years old, documented.
Exactly. So tell me where the name Palestine came from. I swear to you, I heard some of the craziest answer in my life. Someone came to me, Philis means flus. Flus means money. And he's like, Philis and tin, money and what? What, dude?
Well, that's what happens when you start with a lie.
And then you gotta excuse that.
All the tangled webs we weave when at first we practice to deceive, and they just lie after lie after lie after lie, and then everything's just a lie. And now the West is buying it. But to my point, Bill Clinton didn't buy it. because Yasser Arafat, who again is not anything, he's an Egyptian who inserted himself and said, let's call ourselves the Palestinians. Like they're just making it up. And just a group of people come, terrorists come, take over, and they hurt the Arab people, by the way. Like, I want to make this point. We talk about persecuted Christians, we talk about persecuted Jews, but the largest demographic that is hurt and victimized by this ideology of political Islam are, in fact, Arabs, are what we could call peaceful Muslims. They're the most brutalized. They blame Israel for the Gazans. It's Hamas, it's terrorists who are terrorizing and hurting them first and foremost.
But Tim, the problem is the West. I
know.
truly tell you that, because what happened is the West is actually helping the extremists in the Middle East. Now they're helping it in two ways. One, they're bringing them from the Middle East to be immigrants in the West. And instead of forcing them, guys, you are in our house. You have to bow down to our laws and our values. Instead of that, they're using your values and your laws against you guys.
It's a full-on infiltration.
And then when you come to the Middle East, we spoke about the West, how they are using the West. You come to the Middle East, they're excusing those extremists. They're excusing them. And further than, if they're not excusing them, they're going to the victimhood method. It's like, oh, it's Islamophobia, it's this, it's this. So let me be clear here. Listen carefully, okay? Let's take Canada as an example. In 2023, Canada allowed 1 million immigrants to enter their borders, which, by the way, some of them were caught on the borders of Canada and the United States, and the United States caught some of them on the terror watch list.
That's right.
So meanwhile, Canadians are entering to their own land and their own country, terrorists on the American watch list, and then you think about it and say, okay, let's say out of the million, 90% of them are peaceful. And I believe that, by the way. But you understand that the 10% are 100,000 extremists, which they will force the majority to bow down to them. And then instead of actually helping the 90%, I'm talking about the Westerns, you guys are actually helping the 10%. And instead of helping the Middle Easterns who ran away from the Middle East, who ran away from the dictator, who raped their women, stole their money, took their houses, zero human rights, zero freedom of religion, zero freedom of speech, and then they came to here to get more of the same.
That's right. And when that 10% of the radicals get Sharia law implemented in Canada or Europe.
What happened in Sweden? You have places you can't even enter.
That's right. And who are the first people to be abused? First and foremost, they're gonna force
themselves,
the peaceful Muslims, to turn. If they don't, they're gonna get beat up. They're gonna get and then and that's how they do their thing.
And you know what? I want to use this platform to say something to everyone who talks about these issues. Look, the way you talk and the way you express yourself is super important. And why? Because if we generalize all Muslims, we lost the battle even before we opened our mosque. Because they will use that against us. They're going to say, you see, we told you they're Islamophobes. No, that's why it's very important for me always to differentiate and say, guys, when I criticize those extremists, I criticize them just like I criticize the Muslim Brotherhood and say, whoa, but you criticize the Muslim Brotherhood, so you're Islamophobe. I said, guys, the majority of Arab states declared the Muslim Brotherhood as a terror organization. What are you talking about? Meanwhile, UAE forbidden their, let me explain it differently. So the UAE, they allow a scholarship to each citizen to go and learn wherever they want in the world. You want to go to Harvard and you are accepted to Harvard, the UAE will pay for that. The UAE are not willing to pay for any Emirati citizen to go and study in the UK because it's been radicalized. I swear.
I know this. I know.
It's an official state from the MFA in the Emirates. They don't want their kids to go and be educated in the UK. Look where we arrived.
The UAE is actually sending funds to help educate Britain and Europe about radical Islam.
Absolutely.
To stop it. It's insane. And we just keep, the West just keeps taking it in, and we're so tolerant. I mean, we are going to wipe ourselves out of existence if we don't turn this around. I think it's too late for parts of Europe. But
unfortunately, I already said that I'm worried. What's happening in London, in Paris, like even take Brussels, Marseille in France, Amsterdam, all those major European cities where it used to be the culture of being, the freedom of speech, respect. It's gone. It's all gone. You can't walk, by the way, anymore calmly on the Champs-Élysées.
No.
Something will happen.
That's right.
You can't go in Edgware in London. I'm telling you, I'm a persona non grata in Edgware. If enough one person to identify me, they will ambush me, and they will do things that I don't even want to imagine. I've seen their vicious way when I come to lecture, whether it's in Europe or in North America. They are waiting to protest against me. They've already, printed the flyers of wanted dead or alive. Seriously? On what? Because I'm saying my reality and what's going on in my country. So that's why you want to silence me? Because you're scared that I will, uncover the truth? Why? And those are the same vicious people that are being taught in Western schools. And if you take those who are actually being, gets their education from places such as NYU, Columbia University, MIT, Harvard. I swear to you, as a kid, because I watched so many movies, Harvard for me was like the top of the top of the top. I went there at least 5 or 6 times to give a lecture. I met some of the dumbest students in my life. How the hell they arrived to Harvard? That's what's happening to this amazing university? What? And the truth is that you have either biased people who are getting paid, or you have just absolute and ignorant, idiot, blind people who just, goes with the flow. It's scary. Tim,
Yes.
I am telling you, I'm very worried
I am
about
too.
what's going on in Europe, and I'm also very worried about what's going on in America, because
Coming home.
the
It's
Demo-
coming
the-
to
the-
us.
I believe that we lost the Democrats when it comes to Israel being ally.
Yeah.
I really believe that, especially after what's happening now, and I see how the majority of the Democrats are going literally against this just war.
Yeah.
And the just war is not because of Israel. It's a just war also because of America. You guys are the big devil. They're gonna.
That's right.
They were aiming for you guys. We're just in the way.
That's right.
And instead of backing Israel to help you guys,
It's crazy.
some Americans are attacking us. Thank God that you have Americans who are patriot, that willing to fight also for America and for the allies who keep the interest of America in the Middle East.
That's right. I wish our Americans would wake up to this. I mean, I'm a big Bible believer, and there's a spiritual reason, which we can talk about in a minute, about why I support Israel. Biblical, has to do with Messiah that we all believe in, Jews, Gentiles, everybody, it's the same one. But just on a secular basis, this is the truth, what you were saying. The United States should visualize, to your point, Israel as a forward deployed base in a hostile territory that wants to kill us. The intelligence, so people stop giving aid to Israel. Wait a minute. Do you know what we get? First of all, on the technology side, the weapons technology, battle tested technology, that's invaluable to us. Two, the intelligence we get, the intelligence alone that we get in exchange is insane. We can't get that by ourselves. This is intelligence on people who want to kill us openly, publicly. So that, and then you have just the fact that it's a base. It's a base. And so that alone is reason enough to support.
So now they're speaking about, I even heard, what's the name of this weak prime minister? The UK, Starmer.
Starmer,
Oh my God, this douche. Listen.
He just jumped on. He wants to pretend he's part of this now.
I've literally just watched a clip of him saying, I do really believe, he was asked about the Israeli strike on Hezbollah just like after the ceasefire. And he says like this, I truly believe that was a misunderstanding. But from the beginning, I'm against that attack. And I'm watching this and I'm remembering Winston Churchill and I'm saying, what if Starmer was the prime minister during the war against the Nazis? British people would speak German today.
That's right.
I'm not joking.
100%.
That's how much this prime minister and his government are so weak that they bow down in front of the terror supporters within their own community in London and in Britain.
It's a lost cause.
So when I heard this, I couldn't just think of how today we have ignorant leaders in the Western world. And I'm just thinking about, you know what? Okay, you guys hate Israel. Let's say that he's an anti-Semite, or I don't know what, he's biased against Israel. Fine. You hate Israel. Fine. Put that aside. Listen to what the Lebanese are saying. Wallahi, the Lebanese are saying, you know what? I'll give you even a personal story. Back in 2006, I fought in Lebanon. I was in the IDF, a commander, and I entered one of the villages in the southern Lebanon called Binchbel. Okay? So I fought there from the beginning of the war and until 4 days before ceasefire. Why 4 days before ceasefire? Because Hezbollah managed to hit me with an anti-tank missile. And from that hit and explosion, I was injured very, very badly. But that's not actually the story. What happened on the first day when I arrived to Binjbil, that's what's amazing about the story. And that will connect me to what I started to talk about Lebanese and Lebanon, and that the Western leaders should hear the Lebanese, what they're saying. I entered one of the houses, and look, we're in a war, okay? Some of the people in that village in Binjbil ran away and did not stay in a war zone. Some said, I'm going to stay in my house. This is my house. I said, fine. One of the things that we do as an army is we go to those houses and clear them in terms of like security, not clear the people. If the people are not terrorists, then we just go in, take control of the house, manage to see that everything is okay, and those are not the harmless people, and we move on. When we entered that house, we got greeted by the father of the family. And the second he realized that I speak Arabic, because this is my mother tongue language, he called me Captain Haddad. That's what Haddad is my family name, my surname. And so everyone, they call him Captain, and then the family name. So Captain Haddad, that's what he used to call me. And at one point, he tells me this sentence that I would never forget. He says to me, Yusuf, or Captain Yusuf, if you think that Hezbollah is terrorizing you guys, wait until you hear my stories. Because what they're doing to us, I promise you, it's nothing. Because we live with them 24/7. You get them once in a year or whatever. When? And make sure this time to finish the job. Unfortunately, in 2006, we did not finish the job. Unfortunately, in 2024, we did not finish the job, despite the fact that we destroyed them. And if we do not finish the job in 2026, what we are doing right now is just pushing this fight either 4 or 5 years from now or to the next generation to fight that fight. I don't want that, Tim.
Yeah.
We suffered enough.
That's right.
We suffered casualties as well. And of course, you saw the buildings and in Haifa and in Beersheba and in Tel Aviv and in Tamra. Arabs and Jews were under the ballistic missiles of the Iranian regime and its proxies, whether it's the Houthis or Hezbollah and Hamas and all those people and all those terrorists. We suffered so much. But we know that this war is a just war. And that's why the majority of the Israeli people want a complete annihilation of Hezbollah. Who else want that? Even more than us? The Christians, the Druze, and the Sunni, and part of the Shia in Lebanon.
Yeah, I know.
So instead of that weak prime minister condemning Israel for attacking a terrorist organization that used every single war crime in the textbook, yeah?
Yeah.
He comes and he attacks us. That shows you that either he is biased and he's motivated by a specific political agenda that works specifically for him, not for his country, and zero human rights care. And when they care about human rights, only when it fits them and fits their agenda.
That's right.
I resent those kind of leaders. I think they cannot call them leaders. They're puppets and weak.
That's right. And the world is more dangerous because of them.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So there's a debate in the United States right now, led by people like Tucker Carlson, that says that for a Christian in the Middle East, the worst place in the Middle East to be a Christian, and I've worked all around the Middle East for many years, the worst place to be a Christian is in Israel. How would you respond to that?
Let me ask you this question. 2 questions I have to you. And when you answer them, you will know. How many Christians were killed by Jews as a result of terrorism or national terrorism or attack?
maybe a few in a collateral damage situation, maybe.
Maybe.
But
Now, here's my second question. How many Christians were killed in a terror attack and over national issues from Muslims?
starting in the 7th century until now, millions over most of the world.
Hold on. Let's get more interesting. Since 1948, who do you think suffered more? Christians from Jews or Christians from radical Muslims?
Not even close. It's not even
It's
close.
not even debatable.
You can't even talk about it. It's ridiculous.
Now, let's circle back even to both of us today. We're in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And I was actually in a very special ceremony called the Holy Fire Saturday in the Church of the Sepulchre, 1 week before Easter. And I entered the church, and it was very important for me to go also because of the ceremony, but also because I wanted to see in my own eyes what's going on. Because every year you have some footage coming out from the church of the Israeli police brutality against the prayers there, against the Christians. And then I found out the truth. I found out that in this church specifically, politics is even more in demand there than even the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, to that level. You can't move 1 centimeter without the approval of the church, of the priests, and of every sect that gets some sort of a space in the church. And if you, from the Russian sect, and you're going to go to the Greek sect, you can't do that. And if you have 1 centimeter of your foot in the other area, you will have a huge fight between those two sects. That's the truth. Today, for instance, I walked in and I saw amazing, security. Everything was organized very well. I saw that in my own eyes. I was there from like 7:30 in the morning until 4 p.m. So the entire day I was in the church. And I saw how the Israeli police are taking care of what's needed to be there. I saw how priests are hugging and talking with the Israeli police and tell them to help here, to help there, and to do that and to do this. These footages are never broadcasted on the mainstream media. And then while I was there, a fight broke between some of the prayers and the Israeli police. If I show you the video without any context, you're going to say, oh my God, this is
The
pure...
Jews are beating up the Christians again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was there and I saw everything. 4 drunk guys entered the church, yeah? And they were so drunk, they didn't have a problem to confront the police because the police are telling them, guys, there's no space in the church. And I vouch for that. I could not move 1 centimeter because on my left, my right, and my back, people were on me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even move. And that goes to all the church, packed, not even a single place to move. And they wanted to go inside the church, which means it is actually endangering us because there's no more space. Yeah. So the police took an action based on the request of the priest. They said, guys, ensure the safety of the prayers.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't there, and if I didn't know all those, let's say, information, the world today will see Jews or Israeli police are beating Christians. And you know what? Enough.
Yeah.
Enough. You don't understand. You're harming the Christians.
That's right.
You're harming us when you do something like this.
And I responded to Tucker. He had this woman who claimed to be a Christian nun or something. You saw that interview?
Oh, I saw with the mustache.
Yes. I didn't want to say it, but since you did. So, yeah. So she was saying that it's so bad to be Christian in Israel because the sacred Christian sites, the Christians get beat up there by
Tell her to go live in Cairo.
It's the same.
Tell her to go live in Damascus.
Oh,
tell her to go live in southern Lebanon.
I've worked in these countries. It's not. I'm safe here. I will worship as a Christian here, however I want. I feel safer here than New York City or Los Angeles.
But look, Tim. Let me also clarify something. Are there racist incidents or incidents against Christians? Unfortunately, like any other place in the world, we have that. Is that the Israeli government policy, the state of Israel, or the police? Not only it's not true, and it's not the case, but you have also Arab Christian police officers. I met them today in the church. So what are you telling me? That they are racist to my identity and my religion? or they're doing actually the job that they're sent to, which is making sure the safety of the... And by the way, all the Israeli forces were there. And I mean the paramedics, MADA, MDA, Israeli police, and the firefighters, okay? Each one of them was there, not because they want to occupy the church, actually to ensure the safety and also the health of each and every one who was in the church. You know that during the Holy Fire Saturday, the church, all the church is on fire because of you lighting the candles, and there's thousands of candles. So the whole church is actually on fire. The Israeli firefighters were there to make sure that if there's an incident, to take care of it immediately. If something happened and someone was suffocated, the MADA, or the paramedics, the Israeli paramedics were there to take care of them. And if there's an incident in terms of security, the Israeli police were there to take care of it. So the Israeli forces were there to take care of us, to take care of us, to make sure that we are safety. And then Katalson comes and tell me, the Christian who live in Israel, that I live the worst. No. Listen.
It's crazy.
Let me finish by saying this. As a Christian, as an Arab Christian from Nazareth, there is not even a single country in the Middle East where I will replace Israel with. I want to live here. I was born here, and I'm going to die here. And as a Christian, that is the safest place in the Middle
100%.
East for me. And if Katalson wants to debate, bring it on, Habibi.
Yeah. He'll never
Just come on.
He'll never sit down with you because the truth is so obvious. There's Christian churches everywhere in Jerusalem. They're all safe. They're all protected by the Israeli government. There's Christians, Druze inside the government, inside the IDF. It's absolutely ridiculous. And to this nun, I would say this. What she's saying, because Bethlehem, unfortunately, by good intent,
Occupied.
yeah, they gave the land away, which I wish they didn't do that.
No, I'm furious about that.
Yeah, they never should have done that.
Furious about that.
But what happens is in the 80s, Bethlehem was like 80% Christian.
True.
Now it's like less
10%.
than 10%.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the Christians who are brave enough to stay in there, they can become collateral damage. But that's not the intent if they get collateral. It's like saying that, let's just say the group of Christians wanted to stay in Berlin as the Allies were coming into Germany, and they decided to pitch their tents in Berlin, and they got hit.
Yep.
And I'm sure that happened. It'd be like saying, "Oh, the Allies hate Christians," and it's so stupid. It's to your point, and that's what they're playing these games.
And let me just add one last thing about this. In the spirit of the last 40 days, the holy sites in Jerusalem were absolutely closed because of the threat missiles.
Everything was closed
from the Iranian regime.
Yeah.
And then some of the radical Muslims came and started saying the Jews closed Al-Aqsa.
Yeah.
And then some of the other radicals, even within my community, saying, "Oh, the Jews closed the Church of the Holy Church of Sepulchre." I had to stop for a second and tell them, "Do you guys know that the Western Wall is closed and Jews cannot go and pray there?" And today, after the ceasefire, all the holy sites are open.
That's right. I watched it. It's beautiful.
Why you guys lie? How about khalas, enough? Stop.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the Middle East and whatever is happening also here in Israel and of course in Syria. You've been here for 6 months, but you've been doing this for 20 years almost, right?
Yes.
Tell me more about your work and everything that you've done in that sphere to understand a little bit more about some of the things that you've been doing lately and in general.
Yeah. So my first job was at the CIA, and I was there during 9/11, and Mohammed Atta, who was one of the terrorists, he had staged in Mexico and crossed the border. So in the wake of 9/11, they created the Department of Homeland Security. This is early 2000s.
Yeah.
I jumped over there and became a special agent and then an undercover operator. And I was working to investigate terrorism crossing our borders. But 6 months into that job, they said, "We're starting a child trafficking unit." And we didn't know that was even a thing, really. We didn't really, and it just blew our minds at how bad it was. And it's, of course, it's connected to radical, militants, because that's what they do with kids as well. So I worked for 12 years working child crimes. and child trafficking. And then there's a film about this. It's called The Sound of Freedom. It came out 2 years ago. It did very well. 100 million people saw it. It's my story, played by Jim Caviezel. You know Jim Caviezel, who plays Jesus in The Passion. He plays me in the film, right? So
well, now I gotta check it.
Go watch the movie.
Absolutely,
it's on Amazon.
absolutely.
The Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom.
Yeah. So I eventually I quit my job because I was tired of the deep state, the red tape. They're always stopping us.
Yeah.
So I quit and became independent. And I've been independent now for about 15 years. And so what we do is we go places where the bureaucracy wouldn't let us go, all over the world. We've rescued over 10,000 kids, 25 countries. And our focus now is the Jews. And when the Jews got hit, I mean, they're being trafficked, they're being raped, they're being killed.
Yeah.
And no one did anything about it. They weren't talking. So we flew out. In like August 11th, we landed, and we actually created the Tim Ballard Foundation for the purposes of getting funds to help them. And we ended up connecting with the IDF, with the U.S. government. And because I'm independent and I am deniable, right? The CIA, State Department, they can't send someone into Sueva. Something goes wrong, they could start World War III, right? Yeah. So we went in. We went in twice. The first time we got into the outskirts with the IDF and saw the kids coming in from the battlefield, basically horrible stuff. And then I went back to Congress, briefed them, and I said, I'm going into Asueda so I can be a witness. I will see everything. I'll get all the evidence. I'll prove to you that they're not stopping, even though they agreed to a ceasefire weeks earlier. So President Trump was flying in, and we designed our trip around that. He was flying in because he wanted to make sure the hostage deal went through and the hostages got out of Gaza. So me and one other guy, Matt Cooper, who's sitting over here, we jumped in a taxi. Now we're in October, and we just drove through about 8 checkpoints, blockades, just infiltrated, basically undercover style, and just slipped in to Asueda. And they couldn't believe we showed up. Like, who are you guys? And like,
you had an incident with ISIS, right?
Yeah, we had to get through ISIS. We got the intel we needed. We got everything we needed to prove back to the U.S. government.
You filmed everything.
We filmed everything. Yeah, I'll give you all the B-roll we can put it. And then we now we had to get out. That's more dangerous than coming in because now they know we're here. Yep. I mean, there's 850,000 people in Asueda, and they're all congregated from the villages because they're being besieged by ISIS. So now there's no way we couldn't get out. We found out later there was a $250,000 dollar bounty on our heads, both of us.
$250,000.
Not a bad price. I was hoping it'd be a little higher, but you know, I thought my life was worth more than that, but maybe not.
Oh, I wonder how much I'm worth. Tell me, please.
You'll find out. So
I'll get probably a $1 bill on my head. It's like we just kill him.
So we come out. Right. And we're like, okay, they're going to take us. So they took us, the first checkpoint, they took us in, interrogated us for like an hour. But we had front loaded our phones. I'd worked in the Trump administration in 2017, 18. And so we had pictures of me and Trump. I'm thinking, okay, this could work 50-50. And luckily when they got to the pictures, they just changed their demeanor. This was the regime.
Wait, the pictures with Trump?
Me and Trump, knowing he's flying in like 8 hours to Jerusalem, right? So they said, oh, we're so sorry. So the first time worked, first worked. Like, yes, we got through. We get back in our taxi. We drive like a mile down the road to the next checkpoint. It's all militants, black uniforms, ISIS, AK-47s at our windows.
What, with the beard and everything?
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't know if the Trump thing's going to work on this one. You know, especially if they found out about the bounty that they can get, right? So they pull us out of the cars and we're just like, I don't know if we're going to make it back out of this one, but we're big believers, right? We believe in Jesus. We believe in Messiah. We believe he loves these people, and a miracle happened. So down the road comes this SUV, just like shining in the sun and just speeding probably to over 100 miles an hour to us. And I don't know if it's a good guy or bad guy. Parks the car, out jumps this guy. We call him the Disney Prince hair guy because that's all I can remember. He had the beautiful wavy Prince Eric hair, you know, whatever. And he goes, "You two, get in my car." I'm like, "Are we going to our execution? Is it our executioner?" But I noticed that the guys put their guns down, and then Matt Cooper had this brilliant idea. He's like, "Hey guys," because their demeanor changed, the ISIS guys. "Hey, let's get a selfie." And they're like, "Sure, come on in. We got a selfie. I'll send it to you." And we did that on purpose because now once the Jesus Jedi trick, whatever happened, once that wore off, you know, they would remember, oh, they have our pictures. And
Yeah.
you don't want our pictures because we know
Yeah.
the technology we
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
So brilliant move by Matt Cooper. We get in the car, we're driving. He goes south, good, towards Jordan. That's where we came in. That's where we're going to go out. He turns around and gives us Red Bulls. And he says, I'm so sorry about these guys. The problem is with them is they don't understand the covenant. That's what he said to us. I'm like, dude, you might be an angel. Like you might be like one of Jehovah's angels. I don't know what's going on. So then this is interesting. When we came in, we went around the Bedouin territory.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the Bedouins, not in Israel, but in Syria.
No,
the
in Syria.
Bedouins are
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
dudes, like terrorists. And so he pulls into the Bedouin. It's much faster to the highway to the border. And we're like, hey, bro, I don't think this is a good idea. Like it's just us here and these guys. He's like, we'll be fine. Don't worry. So he goes in, and I'm not kidding you. Matt is my witness. Right as we entered, a song came on in my earphones. First of all, right when we entered, it's a Christian song. It says, "This is how I fight my battles. It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you."
Nice.
And then right then, a brownout, a sandstorm envelops the entirety of our SUV to the point that the Disney Prince hair guy is like pumping the brakes. Like no one can see us, and we can see we're totally concealed.
Wow.
And we get through. Right when we get out of the Bedouin territory, the sandstorm drops. Beautiful blue sky. There's a taxi. He says, "Get in that taxi, and he'll take you the rest of the way." And I'm looking. I'm like, "Why don't you take us? Who are you?" You know. We jump in the taxi. A couple hours later, we're in Amman, Jordan, eating hummus in a fancy restaurant with the intel in our hands, with our intel.
That's crazy. If there is one thing that you can tell me about your experience in Syria that you'd say, beside the whole story of getting
Yeah.
out, but actually that you saw in the heart of Sweden that it's not leaving you.
Oh, I can tell you immediately.
The first one in your head.
The first one in my head, we had helped the Yazidi people in the Nineveh Plains in 2000 when ISIS did the same thing to the Christians and Yazidis.
Yeah.
I thought that's who the Jews were. They're not. When I got in there, the first thing they said to me is, "Welcome. We are," their words, not mine, "we are a lost tribe of Abraham, and we want to be gathered to Israel." Whether that's physical, spiritual, or both, they said and they start telling me about their scrolls. They have these scrolls, these ancient scrolls that are going to come and bless the world. And I can't believe it. I mean, this is a spiritual people, profound, deep people.
And it's also very connected to you because you are a believer.
Yes.
And you're a Christian. And when you hear something like this coming from people in Syria, it's crazy.
Well, I read the end time prophecies. My favorite Bible narrative, the book is Isaiah. Isaiah is all end time stuff, and he talks about this, and they read it too. So it's like this is where we're all connected: the Jews, Gentiles, Druze, everybody. We're all connected at the base of this covenant, the same covenant that the Disney Prince hair guy we made reference to. The covenant's for everybody, right? It's end times. We all got to make it, and that these guys want to make the covenant, and they want to be gathered to Israel. They love Israel, and so.
So let me ask a question that I actually also want to give you my opinion on it, but. Based on what you saw, and based on the last 6 months, are you pessimistic or optimistic regarding the Middle East?
I should say pessimistic, but I actually am optimistic because I've seen too many miracles associated with our work, like the one I just told you about.
Yeah.
If Messiah is going to do that miracle for us, it's because he's up to something that's much bigger than us. It's not about us. He just wanted us to get that intel back to the embassy, right? Yeah. He has a plan for these people. He has a plan for Israel. He has a plan for Jews, Gentiles, and the whole world. You know, and Isaiah talks about this. This covenant is for everybody. This is why I'm so frustrated at people like Tucker who wants to divide us up. No, bring us together. We all believe in this covenant. Yeah. Isaiah 56 says it's for the stranger, the son of the stranger. It's for the Gentile, for the Jew, for everybody. All the house of Israel comes together, which represents everybody, and you're going to be adopted in. And so I'm very optimistic. I know the end of the story because I know what Jehovah has said about it. Yeah.
So let me tell you this. I'm going to take it a little bit more to that a little bit of the politics of what's happening in the Middle East, and I'll tell you why I'm really optimistic. Look, what's happening in the last 2.5 years is historical. I mean, look what Israel has done in the last 2.5 years. It started on the 7th of October, where in a way, we were brought down to our knees, but they could not finish the job. And the reason why they couldn't finish the job, and a lot of people asked me, on the 7th of October, were you worried? And I said, yes. And then they told me, okay, when that changed, and I said on the 8th of October, I said, what? Less than 24 hours? Why? And I said to them, because when I heard the percentage of the enlistment to the reserves and duty, I understood no one's going to beat Israel. It wasn't 90% enlistment or 100% enlistment, which is crazy to think that everyone who is getting, to come to serve, you say everyone got it. No. It was 130%
Wow.
enlistment, which means
Wow. I didn't know this.
30% more people came without even the demand for them to come.
Wow.
And it's Jews and Arabs. It's people who have left political views and right political views, and it's secular and religious. All of them on the 7th of October came to serve the army. Further than that, at the same day, I had spoken with several business Arab men. They donated money and food to the IDF soldiers and the people of the South.
That's right.
I knew from the beginning, from the 8th of October, from when I heard that we're going to get out of it, we're going to rise again. And look what happened. We bombed the hell out of Iran. 1,500 kilometers from where we are now. Their skies, it's like our skies. That's what we made it. We made the airspace of Iran being ours. The IDF and the American forces completely dominated it, controlled it for several times, not just now. Look what we did to the Houthis in Yemen. I'm telling you, until today in Sana'a, they are trying to, take some of their damages and try to maybe put out fire from the burning of their buildings and infrastructures there. Look what we did to Hamas. They started the 7th of October trying to conquer Israel, free their land and free Al-Aqsa. Now, 51% of Gaza is under our control. Yeah? The Palestinians living in literally, like, I don't even want to say it in a bad way, but I'll say it that they are living like the most poorest people on earth because of their leaders,
That's right.
because of Hamas. And when they start realizing that, maybe they can actually shift and change. Look what we did in southern of Lebanon and Lebanon with Hezbollah. Decimated them, and we need to continue that until we totally erase them. It's also in Iraq, and also in 7 fronts against a tiny, not even the size of New Jersey. And we managed to do something great. And knowing this makes me optimistic. But also, and you said something when you said to me, oh, they saw the picture of Trump and like, okay, no problem. Here's the thing. In the Middle East, respect and fear, that's the 2 things that you need in order for you to be a leader. The Middle East loved Barack Obama, but they did not respect him. The Middle East hate Donald Trump, but they fear him, and that's why they respect him.
That's right.
Okay? The Arab world is, is attracted to power and respect. And when the IDF showed its true power, they got the respect from the Arab world. And because of that, you see that more and more Arabs are actually talking in the favor of what we're doing in Lebanon, in Iran, and other places.
That's right.
Therefore, all I'm saying is, just be patient and wait, because big things are coming to the Middle East. And I truly hope that if we manage eventually, and this is, it's not a warning, but it's not there's no other option. If the Iranian regime does not collapse, we are going to see more wars. Because Israel is the little devil, and as long as Israel exists, they're going to keep targeting us to move to the big devil, which is
That's right.
America. So we have to finish the job.
That's right. Finish a job which was born 1,400 years ago.
Mhm.
If people understand the history, it's not new, but we don't listen to history. We don't learn from history. This is a war that's been going on for over 1,400 years. Same tactics, same mentality, same death cult ideology. And I'm with you. We have a chance to finally end it. But we have to educate the West. I'm here to educate the West because we got problems with our media and our understanding and our ignorance. And that's, I hope that this helps to do that.
But here's the thing, and I want your take on that. It's obvious. I mean, it's in front of us.
No,
The facts, the truth, everything.
I know.
Why the West, in your opinion, is having so much trouble literally seeing the truth, and they are literally adopting narratives of terrorist organizations and extremism?
I've thought a lot about this, and I've come to only one conclusion, and it goes back to the spiritual side of this. It's spiritual war.
Okay.
This covenant I keep talking about,
Mhm.
right? The covenant is real. The covenant is for everybody. The covenant land, the most preeminent one that the prophecies are about, is right here. Israel. This is the chosen land, and it's going to be chosen, and it's going to be fulfilled in prophecy. It's spiritual. If you don't understand and accept that the history of that covenant, and it goes through Jew, Gentile, and everybody, we're all one under the covenant. If you understand that, then you can make the covenant, and we win because Jehovah can intervene, like I think he's doing already. And so I believe the devil is real. I believe that the spiritual darkness is real. They don't want us to see the blueprints. The blueprints, the roadmap is the story of that covenant, the house of Israel. And the devil doesn't want you to see it. They don't want you to look at it because that will tell you what's going to happen and what you need to do with this covenant to make it a reality. And so it's a spiritual disease. I believe this because I know these people. I know Tucker.
Yeah.
I was friends with Candace for years. And I can tell something is wrong.
Wait, what's so you know those people?
Yes.
Okay. I don't believe that you genuinely believe what they're saying.
No.
And I believe that there is an alternative motive.
Yes.
The problem is that alternative motive is selling your values.
The bottom line is, yes, there's always these motives. There's money, there's followers, but why are they getting followers? Why do people want to hate the Jewish state? Why do they want to hate Israel? Because if they have a chink in their armor for money or whatever, people want to believe this because you have to see it spiritually. The roadmap to this covenant and end time, all this stuff that's going to happen, is related to our knowledge and understanding of this conflict. And the devil does not want people to see the roadmap. And so the easiest way is just say everything Jew is bad, everything Israel is bad, and then they won't look. They won't look. And that's the devil saying, don't look at the end game, don't look at the end prophecies, don't look at what Messiah is doing for all the people. So I believe that, yes, the devil uses money, he uses followers, but those followers, how people get converted so quickly to hate Jews, but it's happened forever. Again, we have 2,000 years of data on this. It's been going on forever because it's the same play by the devil. Don't look at the roadmap, the Old Testament. Don't look at the scriptures. Don't look at the prophecies because it is spiritual. Yeah. So it is a spiritual disease because how can I look at someone like Tucker just say crazy things? You had Candace Owens the other day saying that supporting Israel is supporting a satanic pedophile state. What is going on? Tucker just said that he thinks that Trump might be literally the Antichrist. This is insanity. Yeah. I've only seen that kind of insanity when someone has let dark influences from a spiritual realm hit them.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation because it's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, money can blind a lot of people. Now, I obviously I'm not speaking from a place where I have facts about it, but I really doubt that there is logical explanation about those people, and especially about Katarlson. We know what the guy used to say, and we know that something changed made him be like this. But you know what? I really believe in eventually in good winning over the bad, and the truth is being exposed instead of the lies, and or truth being brought to the front instead of the lies and all the twisting of the facts and the history. But as I said before, I'm really worried because if we keep seeing more people like Katarlson getting more power, this can change a lot. And this is actually a very important topic because the American-Israeli ally is, in my book, the most important ally in the world. I'm not joking, and I don't think that I'm exaggerating.
You're not. You're spot on.
I mean, the fact is, and this is one of the things that you already mentioned with terms of intelligence and whatever we're doing in the Middle East for the safety of the American people.
Yeah.
people do not realize Israel is not the 51st state of America, but Israel is definitely the best ally of the United States.
100%. 100%.
America does not have a better ally than us.
Nope.
I vouch for that. I'm
I
willing
know.
to put my life on that.
I know.
Okay? And the fact is that, look what we're doing today. The Israeli people are under heavy missile attacks from the enemy of the United States.
I know.
And we are getting those bombs and not the American citizens.
That's right.
Because we are the target, because now they want to destroy us, but then they're going to come to you.
Yeah.
And the reason why not coming to you is because of us.
Because you're there.
We are right
I
now
know.
here and getting bombarded and getting those missiles that eventually they will end up coming
I
to
know.
you guys.
I know. It's the craziest
So
thing.
to the
We don't understand.
Americans, because obviously we're not generalizing and we'll never generalize, but maybe to those biased, blind Americans who does not understand the reality here, I want to tell you, you should say thank you to us.
Absolutely.
Again, to those who are biased, blind, not to the real patriot Americans, because to the real patriot Americans, I want to say thank you.
Yeah.
And I want to say thank you to the real American patriots, because I know that they're fighting for their freedom and for their country, and they're fighting for the freedom of the free world, which includes their best ally, Israel. And I know that they think that. And I know that the United States lost its finest men in the battle in the last 40 days. And this is our chance to say that we are appreciate and love each and every one of those heroes as like they were literally one of us. And it's really important for me, you, Tim, to know that as well and to pass it on. I'm telling you, the majority of the Israeli society cried every time we heard some American soldier, something bad happened to him. We cried. It's as if it was the IDF. And then you have some idiots within America talking like what they're talking.
I know.
So you know what? Maybe it's also your chance as an American to say something to the Israeli people. What would you tell them? To the Israeli people.
I would tell them, thank you. Truly, thank you. Because I know this is true. The United States should look to Israel as a forward deployed base in the middle of a region with powers that want to kill us. I mean, I would pay triple in the aid that we're already paying for this, like I've already said.
Which, by the way, it's less than 1 or 2% from the entire federal budget, right?
Right. And it's like the most, security-wise, it's probably the most valuable
Valued,
asset we have.
Yeah.
Technology, battle-tested weapon technology that we wouldn't have otherwise. The intelligence alone that we get from Israel.
Absolutely.
I say thank you for leading out and taking the hits so that we don't have to. And I'd also say I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the idiots in my country who are, instead of being grateful for this forward deployed nation state that can serve that is serving as a base for us. Again, not a base anywhere, but a base in the one part of the world.
I got you.
That's the most dangerous part of the world.
Understood that.
So thank you, and I'm sorry. Thank you, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to try to rectify our people to wake up and recognize the blessing that Israel is to us, and we should try to be a blessing to Israel.
And you know something, when I was approached to, do this with you, one of the things that I immediately thought about is I really want to do that because I also want the Israeli people to hear a side from Americans that they are not listening on CNN or BBC or any other news, whether it's in America or in Europe, or even some of literally the leaders in America from the Democrats or the far right in the Republicans or whatever it is. I really wanted Israelis also to get that perspective from someone like you. And hearing the thank you and I'm sorry together, it's unbelievable. I think I don't know how even to respond to that. Like, thank you and I am sorry. And I guess I'm trying to see if I should say thank you and I'm sorry. And I'll tell you why I'm thinking about that. Thank you is obviously America is the best ally, and whatever the American soldiers are doing is unbelievable. I think sorry for not able to explain it better and to show the facts and the truth better and bring light in the darkness of all those who are blind because intentionally they want to be blind.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry maybe for not explaining better this war.
Well, that's why you and I are here, to help explain it better.
Yeah.
Because I would say that Israel probably could do a better job explaining. But it's, you can only do so many things, but this is important. And there's a lot of great people. There's a lot of great people here in Israel, reporters, influencers who get it. And I'm trying to spread their message, and I'm hoping they're spreading my message. And we just got to keep fighting. They have to go away completely, and they have to become a nation state that is secular in the sense that freedoms are protected, or we have to keep going.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to concede.
I'll tell you something. So basically, what we are saying here, because the Iranian regime is not going to go anywhere. They're gonna fight until they, commit suicide, and I don't care about it. By the way, if we need to eliminate all of them, we will eliminate all of them. You know why? Because I am not like those apologists or those woke people who look into the devil and think, oh, you know what? They're going to turn to be angels. No, they're not.
No.
They are the devil, and they're going to stay devil. And in fact, because of what we did to them in the last 40 days, their mission will be revenge. And when they revenge or want to revenge, what happened the 7th of October is going to be sort of like a nothing compared to what's going to come. And that's why we must continue, in my book, and that's how I see it, this fight until we make the Middle East safer. And by the way, there's 3 points here. One, we want to free the Iranian people from a regime like this who killed and massacred 40,000 of them in like single days, yeah? And we have to bring stability to the Middle East. Look how they attacked all their neighbor country. And of course, peace and security here in Israel. Because all that will eventually also finally bring security and peace to the West, and specifically to the United States.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we got to stay on it, and until these guys are suffocated out, they have to go away.
Absolutely.
And there's so many good people in Iran. The underground church.
Are you kidding me?
And they're rising.
The majority of the Iranian people are amazing.
Yes, and they deserve an opportunity too.
Absolutely.
And it's not it is in our self-interest, security wise too. If we don't see that, these guys are funding Hezbollah. They're funding all the terrorism everywhere. They were funding Hamas. They're funding the counter education programs in the United States. They give more money to our universities than anybody else. So it's all part of the 5th generation warfare, the infiltration, the demographic, the lawfare, the psychological warfare, what they did to Europe, and they're trying to do it here. We need to wake up and realize we are at war already.
Absolutely.
We're already at war, and we have to expose it and kill it.
Absolutely. And what's so crazy is that you spoke about the Iranian regime, and they massacred 40,000 plus of their own people in few days. Yet, remind me, did you hear anything from human rights organization?
Nothing. UN? Nothing.
Did Greta did a flotilla to
free her? She didn't do one there, did she?
No, not really. They're right now working and actually coming towards Israel again.
Right.
And I want to connect that to from the real genocide that happened in few days in Iran to the fake genocide that happened in Gaza. And why I say fake, I want to break it down, and I want to explain how, if you look at the facts, not only it's not genocide, but literally the Palestinians in Gaza are the luckiest people in the world when their leaders decided to attack Israel and massacre 1,200 Israelis, rape our women and also our men, killing our babies and kidnapping 254 people from Israel. When they did that, and then they come back and they start talking about the genocide and all this nonsense. Watch this and watch this carefully because I break it down, okay? In the span of 2.5 years, I went and I wanted to see what is the maximum number of what Hamas gave in terms of victims. That's how they call them, victims. It's a terrorist, it's innocent, it's kid, it's woman, it doesn't matter for them, it's a victim, okay? Their top number is 76,000 people, okay? That's the number. All right. I went to the IDF official data, and I wanted to take the lower number of how much terrorists we eliminated. And the lower estimate number is 23,000 people, 1,000 terrorists. They're animals, not people. Okay? So let's do this math together. And I want to add a couple of more data because you're going to be in shock. Watch this. Okay? We're talking about 76,000 dead Palestinians since the 7th of October, completely caused by Hamas. Because they're the one who decided on the 7th of October to infiltrate Israel and do what they did. Take down 23, and again, it's the minimum number. I didn't take the IDF number is even towards 26, 27,000, but I took the lowest one, okay, which is 23,000. 23,000 dead terrorists. Now, bear with me here. If some of the anti-Israel people comes and say, well, the IDF didn't even kill 23,000, then ask one question. Why Hamas recruited over 25 to 30,000 new terrorists to their organization if we didn't kill and eliminate
at least that many? Yeah.
So here's one that we put aside. Now, beside that, watch this. Did you know that even if you die from natural causes, they will put you in the list of victims?
Of course. Yes.
So we know that in an average of 5,000 Palestinians die from natural causes in a year. That's a 2.5 year. So we're talking about 12,500 people. So minus 12,500 people. We are talking about 40,000 innocent Palestinians. Why I'm saying like this? Because I will never trust a terrorist organization. Right. And when you have a hospital CEO of a Shifa hospital being an actual terrorist, but at the same time the manager of a hospital, that's why I can't trust them. But let's go back to that final number. So we took 23,000 dead terrorists, 12,500 dead Palestinians from natural causes, and stayed with 40,500 innocent people died. This is actually almost 1 to 2, which means for every, 1 to 2, which means on one dead terrorist, unfortunately, 2 innocent people were actually killed. Do you know what is the international average ratio in a modern warfare? 1 to 9.
Wow.
We beat that ratio under the worst circumstances and conditions in a war, where an organization uses their own people as human shield, uses mosques, church, and schools, UNRWA schools, as terror bases, and yet it's still a ratio of 1 to 2. And also, one last question. We dropped over 200,000 bombs on Gaza, and we destroyed between 70% to 80% of the buildings in Gaza. If we are committing genocide, how come there's no 70 to 80% dead Palestinians from Gaza? There's 2 million Gazans. Why there isn't only 200,000 Gazans now if we destroyed 80% of the structures and dropped down 200,000 bombs? Explain that to me, and then maybe I will believe you. But you can't explain that because there's no genocide.
There's no genocide. And I would add 3 things. One, in modern warfare, no state like Israel, the United States during World War II, you've never seen this before. What Israel did for the Gazans, and first of all, warning them that they're coming in, leaflets dropping from the sky, the food and provisions they provided to them, which Hamas just took, sold in the black market, and then contracted more terrorists to come in. So that became almost self-defeating, but Israel did it anyway. And third, and I want Americans to wake up to this, if you look at this as a ratio and demographic comparison, what happened to Israel on October 7th would be akin with our population to over 10,000. If let's say Nicaragua, because I like Mexico, let's go to Nicaragua. Let's say Nicaragua crossed our borders, kidnapped, raped, terrorized 10,000 of our citizens, took a bunch of them back to Nicaragua, and you tell me when you would stop fighting. You tell me that you would say, oh, we're hitting Managua too hard. We have to stop and let our moms and sisters be raped. Forget about it. Every American would do exactly what Israel did and get our people back.
Let me tell you something. Every American would do even way
Even way more.
way more
Way more.
than what we did, because the Patriot Americans, if they saw their own girl or women being raped by some of those vicious people, vicious animals,
That's right.
I am telling you, they would venge.
We would go berserk.
So you know what?
And yet we stand here 3,000 miles away and judge Israel for doing exactly what we would do. There's no one who would say, well, I'm going to let my mom stay as a slave or my daughter stay as a sex slave because I just can't handle the destruction I'm seeing in Nicaragua. Bullcrap. No one would say that.
Yeah.
Get those kids back. Get my mom back. Get my sister back. Get my brother back. Until everyone's back, we would not stop. I don't even know if we'd be as kind as Israel has been to Gaza, dropping food provisions, dropping leaflets saying, get out of the way. And let's mention the fact that the tunnel system that's larger than the New York City subway system, it's in Gaza. That's why they used all the U.S. aid and the UN aid. They built this tunnel system, as you know, and that's what automatically made everybody on top, hospitals, schools, on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They made them human shields on purpose.
Yeah.
It's like you said, the best thing that happened to the Gazans. I know people are going to rip me for this. I know it's true. Yes, it hurt in the beginning. It's called creative destruction. In the end, they have hope. The Gazan people, for the first time, have hope that they might be free from living under terror rule.
And before I ask you a last question, I'll tell you one more sentence because I can say it as an Arab. There's so many Arabs from also Gaza and Judea and Samaria and here inside Israel that I speak personally and in close touch. I will never forget those sentences. And a lot of them say the same sentence plus minus. It says, thank God that the Palestinians are in a fight with the Jews. Because if the Palestinians were fighting the Arabs, they would have been completely deleted from the earth.
True. That is true.
One last question I have for you. You're a spiritual guy, a believer. You've seen a lot of things. You've been here in the Middle East for long. How do you combine, or how do you summarize everything that is happening and everything you saw into also this being a spiritual guy, a believer, and also, eventually believe in good in humanity? Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
So if you need to summarize everything from your experience to all that, how would you summarize that?
It's easy for me because what I do is I try to see the world through the eyes of children, all children. I pretend I'm a Gazan child. This makes it very easy to find right and wrong, light and dark. Find that line because the line is there. It's easy. These guys complicate it because they lie in the West. It's very easy. If I'm a Gazan child, what do I want? If I'm a Jewish child, what do I want? If I'm a Christian child, if I'm a Druze child, what do I want? How do I see the world? Okay, I don't want to be raped. I don't want to be put into sex markets. I don't want to be oppressed. I don't want the food that's given to me by Israel or whoever to be stolen. It's very simple. You see through the eyes of a child what they would want, and it's black and white. Okay, the Christians, Druze, and Druze people, let's start with, they're the good guys in this. The radical Islamists, Hamas, Iran, Hezbollah, they're the bad guys. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Ask a child who's living it, and every single one of them, if you took the time to listen to them, that's what they would say, and they're just reflecting what Messiah would say. This is a war between good and evil, black and white, and it's time we get everybody who cares about a child to get on the right side of this, create that alliance, and defeat evil. That simple.
You said something. This is actually a tweet from the Pope. And he said, God does not bless any conflict. Anyone who is a disciple of Christ, anyone who is a disciple of Christ, the Prince of Peace, is never on the side of those who once wielded the sword and today drop bombs. Military action will not create space for freedom or times for peace, which comes only from the passionate promotion of coexistence and dialogue amongst people. I was actually surprised by that tweet because it actually goes against the Bible.
It goes against his own Catholic history, who called for multiple crusades to protect innocent people.
It's a bit weird, no?
It's very weird. You have to sometimes manifest righteous violence to rescue children. And by the way, Jesus was no pacifist. Okay, Jesus stood in the face of corruption. He took a whip. He flipped tables. Okay, he was serious. And if you read the end time prophecies about what Jesus Jehovah will do, he he says, I will yell like a warrior. All throughout the end time, I will fight for the innocent people. Better that a millstone be hung about your neck than that you should hurt one of these little ones. He even spoke. This is the Prince of Peace I give you. He's the Prince of Peace. But to get peace, you have to show strength. And he said, better that a millstone be hung about your neck than that you should hurt one of these little ones. He spoke like a mafiosa boss, but it's the Prince of Peace, so it's okay. It's righteous. He said, better than a millstone. What does that mean? It's better that you die than you should hurt one of these children. So I'm not sure of the context, but
it's literally
if that's what he said,
that's literally the tweet.
If that's what he said, I have to disagree.
Literally the tweet.
I'd say that that's not a reflection of what Jesus would do.
So let me tell you something. I think you answered it the best way there is when it comes to answer it as a Christian. Let me answer this as a Middle Eastern, and also as a Christian. And for me, unfortunately, I say that because the Pope. For the Christian community here in Israel, and the majority of them, he is the leader. And hearing that or reading that tweet, and I just can't not think about how disconnected this tweet is from the reality. And as a Middle Eastern, I would say the only way to bring peace in the Middle East is through force and strength.
100%.
And you know what? If we don't realize that, then we will never have peace here. And then good will not win.
That's right.
Actually, evil will win over agenda like this, or
That's right.
going with this concept.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't see the words of Jesus in that, or the sentiments, or the actions, or the prophecies. No.
Yeah.
Jesus is a warrior. He will be a warrior. Jehovah's a warrior.
And let's say we want peace.
Yeah.
That's our message.
That's right.
But how can we get peace if you have terrorists trying to kill those who want peace with zero even negotiation?
No.
So come on, guys.
You gotta
Stop
stand
with
up.
this political
That's right.
bullshit and try to actually understand the reality of
That's
the Middle
right.
East here that we are living. And don't believe every single word that someone said because he saw a TikTok video and decided that this is the truth now.
Oh.
Right?
Yep.
Well, you know what? I think that was a hell of a conversation.
Yes, it was.
And I really, truly hope that anyone who is watching this right now, if you are against Israel and against America, we urge you listen to us.
Yeah.
Go and fact check us.
Yes.
But if you find out that we said the truth, and we did say the truth,
yes.
then support us.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you don't, because you are biased, then in Arabic we say روح بلط البحر. Let them translate that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to know.
It's not a curse. It's actually a very nice
Okay.
phrase that we use in Arabic. It's go cement the sea, which is not possible. So if you don't like that, go and occupy yourself by trying to cement the sea.
right.
This is a sentence that we used to use a lot here in Israel when someone doesn't like something.
And to close out, if people want to learn more about how we
Oh, yeah.
work and what we do, we have a film coming out, Angel Studios. I told you to see Sound of Freedom. Watch
Sound of
that.
Freedom is done. I'm going to watch it.
But in about 2 weeks, we have a documentary coming out called Hidden War. Hidden War is a story. It's a docu-film. It's all real, nothing recreated. It's a story of us. We went into another war zone in Ukraine to rescue children. We ended up dismantling an entire international trafficking organization that are pedophiles. 6 countries from Western Europe to Latin America. It's an unbelievable story. It comes out, Hidden War, and then people can support us at the Tim Ballard Foundation to keep us going. TBFrescue.org. So please, everybody, contribute, help us to continue this fight.
I'm going to promise you to watch those 2 movies.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for the important work that you are doing in order to reveal the truth with the facts. In Arabic, I say shukran. In Hebrew, I say toda. And in English, I say thank you. Really, Tim.
Thank you,
very
brother.
much,
God
brother.
bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.
That is great.